I think if he does that, they'll have a good year.
Yeah.
If he doesn't, we might get Meg back.
This is not just a dream, it's a wet dream of orgasmic proportions that belongs in a different galaxy altogether.
Hello and welcome back to the third episode of the Subs Bench. How have we been since the last one? It's been about three and a half weeks. Anything happened, Dusty?
Nothing major, mate.
No?
Major.
Become a father, actually, for the first time.
Wee baby Manus.
Little baby Manus. She's a girl, but Manus seemed to suit, so we went with Manus.
Sleepless nights yet, or?
Yeah, there's been a few. I think she only came along on Thursday, so Thursday, Friday were a bit rough. Last night was a bit better, and she's getting better. She's starting to learn. She's still fairly new on the job, so
yeah, she'll get there, mate.
She's getting used to it. She's all good. Yeah.
All good with nappies?
I wouldn't say I'm all good with them. I've become better with them, but yeah, it's still not my favourite thing.
Have you gone through the stage where it's like
The tar
green and black?
That's all gone. It lasted a bit longer than it was supposed to because she wasn't eating as much as she was supposed to first couple of days, but she's through that now. She's all good now. There's nice stopping her. So yeah, it's good fun.
Yeah. Nabby, had any kids this last few days?
No, not that I'm aware of, but yeah, sleepless night. We had a little Rovers shindig after our pre-season game, so a bit of a bonding session, you could call it.
Yeah.
So
that was pretty good,
pretty
eh?
decent,
Yeah. To talk about a few different topics.
Few
Jackson
hard-hitting
Rossi
issues,
and his
I'm sure.
seahorses. Carnivorous coral eating his seahorses. That was an eye-opening.
Yeah.
21-year-old kid with a
Yeah,
fish
do
tank.
that.
Yeah. Alright, Sam. We have a guest in the room. Skie Hano Hanifin, head coach at Kapalaba Bulldogs this year, the NPLW team. Welcome to the Subs Bench.
Thanks for having me on, lads.
I think we'll get straight into it. Your background, where the love for football came, because I can see on social media you're passionate about the game. Where did it all start for you?
Too small for rugby league, so then kind of fell into soccer or football, as we call it, and kind of progressed from there at a young age, probably maybe 5, 6 like everyone else, I suppose, but. Through our family, mum Italian heritage, so pretty big with football that side, but the old man is rugby league through and through, so I was too small to play, and then just fell into soccer and played all my life and give it away about 30 and then took on the coaching ranks. So.
So with coaching you moved into the men's game to start with. Mitchelton.
Yeah, so took the 18 boys on there for a couple of years, and I think the first year we finished third with a pretty new group, and then the next season we actually won it. So I guess that that winning the grand final just triggered a lot of things in my head and where I wanted to go with coaching, and was pretty excited from then on. And then after that, Leo gave me the opportunity to take on the reserve grade squad at Mitchie under him, and that was. Few things to be seen there, and then from there I kind of got pushed into the women's side. Yeah, and then haven't left there since.
So because I had a brief spell at Mitchie at that time. The culture was it was really good. There was sometimes you just get a club where the men's division, the juniors, the women, it all kind of comes together and everyone works the same pathway. So I really enjoyed it. The only reason I left is because I want to get back into coaching. But did you find that at Mitchie it was just a nice family feel? Yeah,
100%. Yeah, it was probably more of maybe a community club back then. So you had thousands of juniors and then a couple of decent head coaches, which is really handy. And then everyone kind of worked really well under that. So I think it's important. The structure is really important. If you've got a couple of good head coaches that are good leaders, then the rest kind of stems on from there. So
yeah, and a good president as well. I think it makes a massive difference.
Roger was fantastic. Yeah. One of the best I've been under, and him and Leo and myself and Zoe Bickerstaff at the time was we spoke about culture every second day, and if you can produce a good culture, then you've got a good club. So, but back then it was good times.
Yeah, and then as you said, you've moved into the women's game, and I've got to be honest, I haven't followed much of the women's game, but I probably will from now on because we're going to be, I suppose, doing this podcast, so you kind of need to know what you're talking about, asking questions about, and things like that. Yeah. So the difference from going from coaching men to coaching women, I have spoke to one other coach who said you got to give it a try sometime. Like, it completely opens your eyes, coaching wise, and this and that. So in your words, what's the main difference between coaching men and women?
Oh, probably the structure.
Yeah.
Structure of the sessions is very important. For me, to make it 100% clear, I don't know what it's like with men because obviously I haven't been involved in a long time, but generally with a session we'd turn up and I just have everything on the whiteboard and just make everything dot point as clear as possible. If they don't understand anything, just ask me then and there, and then we get out and just smash it out.
That's what you do now?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's since NPL, W level, that's what I've always done. Every session, just have it all on the board, and if there's any questions, they can get it out and ask. And then, there's always questions during sessions, but as long as the clarity is there, and they're good, man. Like they listen. I think that's maybe a key difference between the men and women is when you're talking, there's no one else talking. With lads, there might be a bit of banter at the back, but as soon as you open your mouth, around the girls, there's silence. So.
Yeah.
And I think learning at every point is big for the girls, whereas I think with men, maybe, once you hit, 20, 25, maybe if you're not going to play that, that A-League level, and you come back and you play, QPL or even NPL, and, they're just with the boys, it's a bit different because, with the girls, I think all the way up until you're maybe, kind of 27, 28, there's still that chance you can jump into that raw squad. So
yeah. Even beyond that age, really.
Yeah,
definitely.
It's interesting that you said that because the one coach that I did speak to was Nick Croydon. I spoke to him just after he took the women's team on at Logan. So what's it like? He just went. He said, mate, it's a complete. I think it was for him. It was maybe like just a breath of fresh air, and that's what he did say, that they just listen and they want to learn. And it probably is what you're saying. I get, because in the men's game, McNabb was always one who was chuntering at the back when you're trying to put a session on, and he's bouncing around talking about New South Wales origin hopes and stuff like
it's
that.
Called culture, but
but I think sometimes, without being disrespectful to players I've coached and men and stuff like that, maybe there is almost a bit more ego in the men's game.
That's what I was going to say, is like, having viewed women's football from like the outside in, watching like my wife play and her teams and whatever, it seems to be less bullshit, if that's sort of makes sense. Less ego, less of that. It's just they want to get in and play football, and
a lot of them are playing like for the love of the game too. Like even at NPL level, I couldn't imagine many clubs paying. You know what I mean? Like, they're going to be playing for the love of the game. I think blokes, some of them play for the paycheck, and that's probably one aspect that the women's game probably hasn't quite got yet. Would that
as
be
much?
something?
Yeah, slowly starting to creep in. But like with the senior girls, it's if you look at Steph Latham from Capalba, been around for years, been in the W League, and we had an interview with a meeting with our budget, and she said, look, she'd be worth a couple hundred a week, but to bring good girls to the club, she said, I don't want it, let's get someone else, pay someone else, and then just strengthen the side, whereas I think that might be a little bit different in the men's league, obviously.
No, I said the exact same thing, mate.
I've said it for years too. Even offered to pay rent.
I don't get paid anyway, so they can't take much off me.
But if you take I suppose an example from a different sport, a different country, didn't Tom Brady at the New England Patriots drop for, he could have commanded 35 million a year, and he said, look, just give me 15, just make sure with the other 20 you give me pieces that I can work with and we can win. And that's what happens. And look, it's going to be very difficult at this level when lads kind of rely on that extra pocket money to get them through the week, pay their bills or whatever it is. If that's what you've been picking up, you're probably just going to expect to continue getting that. I think, didn't LeBron James and his two mates, when they played for Miami, they all just went, look, we could all command top figure at a different club each, or we can just go and win titles together.
Same as David Beckham, who went to PSG, just said, pay it to charity if you're going to pay me anything. Because I had to pay him something for tax reasons or whatever, and he said, I don't want it, just give it to charity. I think that's pretty cool.
One thing I do like about the women's game is that you can pick up W League players to come back and play in the local division, which I guess for a young girl growing up, she can go down to Capalaba. She could be a Capalaba junior, go down to Capalaba and watch a girl she's watching on TV play week in, week out. Go to training, watch them train, being around it. So
those girls stay close as well. Like M Gilnick for one. She's an old Capalaba girl, and she was training with us last year.
Was she like Bayern? She's a Bayern Munich, so it's crazy.
Matilda, like one of the most accomplished Matildas we've had, I think. And
Isn't she doing your strength and conditioning?
She was when she was based in Brizzy, and then she moved to Melbourne to play for Victory, and now she's gone to Germany. But whenever she's back, she's always at the club, and she's always around. There's always young girls coming to see her, and it's pretty cool. It's awesome. Yeah, same with Claire Polkinghorn. She's an ex Capalaba girl, and she does the same thing. So you're right. Like,
it's massive. It's massive for the development of the game. Yeah, for women, like to be able to see their heroes, up close and personal. Like, I mean, I don't know what it's like for the men, but and also seeing girls now from the W League getting signed to clubs like Chelsea and Arsenal and M going to Bayern. Like, that's massive clubs. Like,
there's been quite a few in the last, just the last 3 weeks.
Caitlin to Arsenal,
skipping through an Optus Sport, or just popping up a different player, going to a different team. And
one that went to Everton as well recently.
Rasso,
it's good. Quality, good. Yeah.
I don't know about you guys, and you probably have a better insight being a coach, but I don't think I've ever seen a woman dive.
No.
That's something I love about watching them.
They play so tough. Like,
big challenges.
They get smashed and they just bounce straight back up. And
it's never in their head though. Like even at training and that, when you're playing cage or anything like that, like they never even think about that. Like it's just iron goal and the work ethic is. I guess the work ethic you could mirror with the men because they just want to get in, get the job done, and get out. But you're right. Like in all the times that I've been coaching the women, I think I've seen like 2 pens given away. And one of those you could say, she dove or dived or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's
not a common thing.
Even 1v1 going to the keeper, there's always like a shirt pull rather than a trip or two peg bloody challenge. So for sure.
What about like in the dressing room, like the banter and stuff? Does that differ massively? Is it? I mean, it could be different types of.
I guess you got to understand from my point of view, being the head coach is just like a really really quick brief insight. So generally we turn up hour and a half before the game. That first 20 minutes, the players get to do what they want. I'm in the sheds there with them, write everything on the board. Game day instructions. Walk around, give a couple of key player instructions, and then probably for the next, say, 20 minutes I'd be out. That all get changed then, get into the training kit. Then after that 20-25 I'll get back in, have a quick chat. And then I guess from that point on then it's really, really just 100% game focused. The band is probably in the first 20-25 minutes. But then after that it's just... And that's one other good thing about women's football is when you give instructions... I don't know what it's like in the men, but you get girls come off at half time and they'll be like, Hano, like, do you think I'm doing my job, or what can I be doing more, or I've lost my player a couple of times, can you give me a bit of feedback? You know what I mean? Whereas I think maybe men might shy away from that maybe with geez, I'm not having the best game, but I'm not going to go to head coach and tell him in case he doesn't know. You know what I mean? Whereas girls or women, that's
honest.
That's
21 questions.
And that's the thing, man. Like if you're not honest with them. They'll take you for a ride. Like it needs to work both ways. You know what I mean? And probably the same in the men's game. But that's one big key difference. For sure. So
the band doesn't really fly around.
Mainly at training, man. Mainly at training. I'd say probably this would be same as the lads. Like as you turn up, if someone had a stinker on the weekend, then the girls would give them a bit of stick and that sort of stuff. But it's a little bit different to the men, I suppose. Yeah. But once you hit that training park, same thing with the men, I guess. Like if someone buggers up or mucks up at training, you might hear the lads dig into the lad that mucked up. But with the women, it's just all encouragement and getting going again. So it just makes my job so much easier. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
all right. So from Mitchie, Moreton Bay, the first head coach role that you were given.
Yeah.
And from memory, you kind of kicked off the whole Moreton Bay women's program in terms of they weren't challenging or anything like that. You went in and just the whole club started to get behind the women's football on social media, at least from the outside looking in.
Yeah, so they had a women's program, and unfortunately the first team failed there. I think they were in for 2 years maybe, and just got hammered every week, and then decided to pull out of that and just went with the NPLW juniors, and then applied for a license and got it. And then I had a couple of options at that stage on what to do, whether to flick back to men's football or really challenge myself, and more or less, like, honestly, it was either make or break then, big time. If I went there and then failed at that job, then I guess I'd look like a failure. Yeah. Because I stuck my neck out and had a job where we didn't have one player. Yeah. And we built a squad, and from that year we finished 5th of 14, I think, and missed finals by 1 point. Yeah. And I think, I don't think anyone really thought we were going to go that well. I thought with what we had and what we signed, maybe mid-table, maybe a little bit worse. Yeah. Because no one had played together before. But
was that, do you reckon, more satisfying than maybe like getting a team of favourites and winning the league? Given that it was your first crack.
And there was no real expectation as well.
Yeah. I mean, expectations was... I mean, I always have expectations on myself, as every coach does. But yeah, man, I still remember it like it was yesterday. Like, we had the last game, we played Raw, and I think we needed to win by 4 to make the top 4 then. And we won by 2. And I was pretty shattered, But then, looking back, first year and... 2 sides to the coin. I mean, there's nothing better than... We'll go into it soon, but there's nothing better than making a grand final. That week's just unbelievable. But, I mean, for the girls, got to give the girls credit that first year. For them also, you can... Let's imagine, yourself, if you say, Wolves are going to give you this opportunity, we haven't got one player, are you going to go? Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's the risk the girls were taking. And I was having to say, look, just put a little bit of faith in me. We'll have a good team. Yeah. We're mid-table. This is what I can throw out. And it worked pretty well.
Yeah, I think that was one thing I was going to say. That what do you sit down? You get one of the girls sat down. You say, look, we haven't got any players, but
do you want to be our player?
Yeah. Do you want to be the first one who comes on, and then it'll snowball from there, because we can go, I've got to talk to this one and that one and that one. Someone's got to take a leap of faith.
We just had trials, and then at the trials I just advertised as heavily as I could, and then just didn't talk about anything else but having a good culture and a really good club, and that I'd drive the culture and make sure I looked after the girls. And then turn up the first session, there was like 40 odd girls, and I guess it didn't really surprise me because of the amount of advertising and activity I had on Facebook and Instagram and that sort of stuff, social media, about how good it was going to be. But then from that point forward, I needed to make sure that the sessions were good, and then leading up to Christmas, we signed I think 18 or 20 odd players. Yeah. But to get back to your question, I think I had to sign 4 quality ones to then bring another 6 or 7 that were going to be that were going to be good. So, but and that happened. And
who were the key? And I know that it's easy for me to say who were the key, and you're going to piss off 15 players by not naming them. But if there was 3 players that you say, look, by getting that one, and that one, we give ourselves a real chance of success.
In the first year?
Yeah.
So it was the big key for me that first year, and probably why I took the job, was because that was when Olympic lost their licence. And then she's probably going to hate me for it, but Christy New was our captain, and me and her just worked so closely together, and her drive for women's football was just nothing else, man. So I just knew that with Olympic shutting down that women's female program, which was extremely unfortunate, because I do like Olympic as a club and what they do for women's football, but it just benefited me so heavily. So I just concentrated so heavily on signing her, and then as soon as I signed her, I knew the Samoan left back had come in, Madalena Daniels, who's absolute quality, and then Lauren Spreber would come back, who was there. She was at East at the time, and she ended up coming back, and then from there I reckon those three just kind of snowballed from there.
Yeah.
So.
And didn't you get from memory? You made a big splash mid-season. Was there a girl from the Gold Coast came?
Yeah. So.
Centre forward.
Yeah. So it was pretty funny. We had Jasmine Perrin, who's probably twice as tall as me and as skinny as me, but just runs all day, right winger, can just score them from anywhere. And I think I was looking for that little bit of support from her, and at the time we had Scotty Walker, an American, and I just wanted to get someone else up top so we could try and dominate the league. You know, I think at that time, maybe mid-season, we were mid-pack, and I kind of thought to myself, geez, if we could get one more, then we'd be a real force at the league, you know.
Yeah.
And then flicked Meg a message, and 2 days later she replied and said, yeah, I'm in. And I was like, geez, yeah, okay. And then from there it kind of just snowballed, and then and me signing her at that point then finished off the season really well, but then it gave us that authority for the next year to make us title contenders. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
that's good.
So I think we'd all consider a team with no players at the start of the season to a team who miss out by 2 goals.
Success.
It's a complete success.
Yeah. And I mean, that just doesn't go down to me. Like, I'm not the type of guy that takes all the credit and that sort of stuff. I said it all along, even on Facebook and Instagram, that sort of stuff, where I'm pretty heavy, is, it's about the girls and the culture and my assistant at the time and the club that first year, and I was let me do what I wanted. You know what I mean? And I was never interrupted, and it was a dream. So
and because the club did get behind the women's. I used to, when you're looking on social media, you got your different clubs and that, and everything pops up. And, there was probably more Moreton Bay women news than there was the men.
Yeah,
it's the first time I'd seen that, and it's not the only club that does that now. Gold Coast United, all their pre-season signings, it was like another one coming. I'm thinking, I wonder who they've signed, and it was female football. So, I think you've probably helped kickstart something on a bigger scale than just at one club, with certainly the social media side of things.
Yeah. And I mean, there's always going to be lads and people that take it both ways, whether they think I'm arrogant or do it for myself. But I can tell you now, I certainly don't. I'm all about the game and helping the girls and the program where we are now at Capella.
So going back, you've had your first season. You've signed Megan halfway through the year, and it's just kind of give you that momentum going into 2019. You just started. At the start of the year, you'd have been just about favourites, would you say? Or 2 or 3 teams, but everyone expected you to certainly be challenging to win this league.
In my second year there? Yeah. I mean, Lions were obviously, one of those clubs that professionalism is pretty high. But I always thought to myself after that first year, I wanted to go and sign a couple of more senior girls to help out the girls. And then once again, me and Christy got talking, and one of the Raw girls, Nat Tatham and Alira Toby, become available. And I can't give credit for Nat Tatham more than she is phenomenal, man. Her work ethic, her training, the way she leads the girls around, and the way she talks to the younger girls and the younger group is phenomenal. She deserves every single accolade that she gets. Been at the Raw now under Jake, and got those 2 girls, and then another really weird story, but our American that ended up top goal scorer, Rolly Baisden. I ended up becoming pretty good friends with her old man, but I just flicked her a message on Facebook. And I said, what are the chances of you coming to Australia? I watched a couple of videos that she didn't know about, and her in college and that, and she just looked too good. It looked too good to be true. And I kind of said to her, is this you in the video? And she's like, yeah. And she was playing D1 college back then, which is elite college. And so we got her out, and I've never seen anything like her. She, same as Nat, her work ethic, and she would always be first to training, last to leave. And being that striker or the 9 or the winger, just incredible. Like she'd kind of tell the under 9s to go to one side so she could have half the net and just work with half the net half an hour before training, and then, you know, someone would have to give her a lift home after training, and no one would want her because she'd want to stay back and do extras, you know. And, you know, credit to where she is now at the Raw.
Yeah.
Has she been picked up?
Yeah, she got picked up by Raw, and
Is that just recent?
so she got picked up at the start of the season.
Yeah.
And started every week.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's
All
quality.
because of you, mate.
No. Just because
the opportunity.
because of her work ethic. Like she's unbelievable, and everyone can see that. Like,
were you like when you got her over from the States? Were you worried about like being catfished? Like, is this
yeah, kind of. But then she was one that I can say, like, as soon as the first session was over,
You can tell.
I was like, man, we've got a good one here.
Straight away.
And then like, it didn't matter who you play, and I don't know what it's like in the men's game, but. Yeah, I don't want to downgrade any sides, but you know, if you're sitting top and then you've got to play a side that's 11th or 12th, it might be hard to get up for that game. But like with the women's game, that's where it's different. Like there's no, they never find it hard to get up. You know what I mean? Like they just want to go and belt teams.
Yeah, they're pretty ruthless.
And they'll never stop. You know, never stop. I remember last year we were playing Toowoomba away, and it got to 10 block. And I think Riley had scored 3 or 4 by then. And there was 5 minutes to go, you know. And I had a 15-year-old there, and I said, you know, I'm going to give you your first start. And she was so excited. And I called Riley off and didn't shake the hand. Threw the bid down, was like, come on, I want to get 5. And I'm like, oh, come on, man. Like, you know, but that's just the way they are, you know. Like, so.
Top attitude.
What would her options have been if she stayed in America after D1? Like, because obviously, like her coming out here is a pretty big opportunity in itself.
Yeah, but I think if you talk to her, and we're still pretty close, if you have a look at what she's done now in making the Raw, now she's got that under a resume.
Yeah, exactly.
She's got that ammunition to go home now and try and play, you know, elite level at home in America.
Was she still in the college system, or was she just left?
Just finished.
Did she have any?
I think she was 6 months out.
Did she have any clubs in America interested, or?
She did, but she wanted to travel at the same time.
True.
I
suppose it's very appealing, isn't it? Like
to
massively. Massively.
Come to Australia, get
Whereabouts in America is she from?
San Fran, off the top of my head.
Oh, because I'm thinking, you know, when you think of America, you think there's quite a lot of places that you think, you'd be leaving that to try something else.
Yeah.
But then you also think right in the middle of America, you know, like it's all shit. And it's only like the bits around the outside that are actually cool. But San Fran's
I think she played a bit.
Not a bad.
I think she played a bit in California as well.
Yeah.
So, and then I think that's where her odds are now, and that's where she's sighted now in California. So
she went from California to Brendel.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's a leap of faith. You're a good salesman.
God's country, isn't it?
Does she come out with any like weird American commentator stuff, like, you know, go ahead goal?
Dusty loves it.
Dusty, get a few more off your chest.
Here we go,
Galaxy.
Nah, she just
love soccer, man.
She was kind of pretty quiet when she got here, and then, you know, probably like anything, new country, and like they all are, you know. I guess you boys do the same thing when you're bringing a player over. You got to try and make him feel really welcome. And
does she play finals or playoffs?
Hey,
finals or playoffs? Playoffs.
Playoffs.
It's funny that you mentioned like when she came across and she's trained, and the sense of relief, you're like, it's a good one. Because sometimes you do get players across, especially back in the day when you didn't just have 2 visas where you had to make sure they were real good. Back in, you know, BPL, Cat 1, even Cat 2, like you were getting lads messaging saying, and scored 60 goals in League 2, but I just want to live in Australia. Like, get yourself across. And then they train. and literally you just look at your assistant and go,
what League 2 is he playing in? League 2 pub football.
Do you remember
Essex Sunday League?
The bloke we got in from Leeds, Big KT, and
he said he played at Leeds United or something.
Pete Davidson made sure like he got to training and stuff, and we had to go pick him up on the way to training. Massive dude. He would have been what, like 6'8" or something like that, and like massive, a big, huge guy. He had to have his boots specially made because his feet were that big. And
wasn't Rog, was it?
I was going to say, could be Roger.
He rocked up. We were training. It was pre-season at Combsley on those hockey fields.
He wore his hockey shin pads, didn't he?
He couldn't
walk
and chew gum without tripping over.
Yeah,
he was that bad. And
He must have played at Leeds in the League 2 days. I think he was terrible.
But you do get the flip side actually. I remember because I had a few lads from Newcastle back home who'd come across and done quite well at Cap 2 level, and maybe Cap 1 we're moving into. And the bloke who'd sent them across said, I've put another lad in touch with you. He'll be in touch. He's coming across and wants to start a life in Australia, mid-20s, and I hadn't heard of him, and I probably would have heard of him if he was real good at that level. So I was like, yeah, all right, we'll have a look. So he turns up and he's 6'2", skinny. So where do you play? He was like, on the wing. I went, don't look like a wing I like, but yeah, all right. Whereas he's could need a couple of players to help out. And we took him down Runaway Bay, pre-season game. We had a game down Runaway Bay, and I'd said to the reserves manager, said, just chuck him on the last half hour, will you? See what he's about. And he came on. And within about 10 minutes, I went down. I was like, get him off, because he's playing first team. Paul Swithenbank.
I was going to say,
seriously.
Swithenbank, doesn't he?
When he turned, God love him. He didn't look like a footballer.
Looks like a backpacker, really.
Fruit
picker.
Yeah. And
taking pickies and writing books.
And he played this 10 minutes, and he was just like Chris Waddle, just gliding past. And Runaway Bay's reserve team might not be a great standard, but when you just see something, you go, nah, this lad is a proper footballer.
But they're the best ones. Remember, Danny Cunha hung around training with us for a season, and couldn't play. Al Hunter didn't sign him for whatever reason, and he would just turn up and train with us. And he didn't look anything special. He was a decent player, but he rocked up, and we signed him for the following season. Played the first game in Resis of the season and just took the piss. And from that point on, first team, and now he's gone on to win everything with power.
How can in a year someone not see how good Cunha is?
I don't know. It was weird. And
where were you playing him?
He started as a 10. But he wasn't. That was the thing. He wasn't playing the first 6 months he was there. He just trained.
To be fair, that happened a fair few times when we were down there.
Yeah.
So, with Bernardo.
Bernardo turned up.
Didn't get
you passed on Bernardo.
He went to Lions and then played against us in a pre-season game that weekend and just rattled us.
Piss.
Who else?
Good. And then we signed about 14 Korean. But anyway, that's a different story.
Daniel Gekic. We got Gekic.
We got Gekic.
Gekic.
Passed on Bernardo and signed Gekic.
No, but Danny, that's as you say, no one knew who he was. He just hung around training. And
shorts,
one of the best players I've ever played with.
Speaking about Swizz, he was playing for Mitchie, and they were playing Taringa. I'm not sure with this game, but it's on film. He takes the piss and beats about 5 defenders. All the camera's sort of looking down. I'll just never forget that. He absolutely
he had silky feet out.
He has it in him,
glide past players.
I'll go on record. He's the most talented footballer I've coached. Just pure natural ability, and for me, should have done a lot more with it. But
good kid too.
There's great lad. I think I'm catching up with him down Melbourne this week for breakfast.
Nice one.
So we'll go for some eggs, Benny. So second season. You go in with probably a lot more expectation, I think. Expectation on yourself. You put that on yourself, or?
Yeah, I mean, there's always pressure, and if there's no pressure there, then you're not in the right job.
Yeah.
I thrive on it, I guess. I mean, if there's more pressure on me and you can succeed, then you show the haters that you've done the the best job that you can. And I think the second season, if you want to look at it as a pass or fail, I think making a grand final was a pass.
Yeah.
I just think our second half of that grand final was a fail.
Yeah.
But looking back, when Riley come over and then we got Alira and Nat, I just think in every line we had a W League player.
Yeah.
And I guess the good thing there was when you come up against other sides, they would focus so heavily on those girls, and it would let the other girls play freely.
Yeah.
And they were loving it, there was no pressure on them.
Yeah.
And I said to the girls from the get-go, I said, once we signed our 16 or 17 or whatever we had, I just said, look, I'll take all the pressure.
Yeah.
Just want you girls to play, all right?
Yeah.
Just play football. And I think last year we lost 4 and won the rest. Drew 1, I think, and ended up finished second. I think we were 4 points behind Lions and made the finals. But I think it was an extremely successful season with women's football. If you can release the pressure off them, and that was probably the biggest challenge for me. Was keeping so many good players in the squad at a level head, not let them get ahead of ourselves. And I think doing that week in, week out was the key. No matter who we were playing, we just, we turned up and tried to be as professional as what we could, and just trying to grind a result every week. And it's like with top squads. I mean, if I guess the grind can really bring the best out in you. You know what I mean? If you play a mid-table team and it's 2-2 at half time, and you're not playing the best of your ability, challenge the players at half time. Say, can we do this and this in the second half, and come away with a win? And with the amount of class girls that we had, half-time chats. I think last year I raised my voice maybe twice in the whole year. Because I had so much confidence in them that no matter what happened in that first half, if we could just get back in the sheds, level our heads, just get back level, and then head out for that second 45, and you would always come away with a result. So.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing as well. I remember reading, I can't remember who said it. It was a top level coach, maybe he's from a different sport or court or whatever, and he actually said if you've done your job in pre-season, and you brought in the right players, the right characters, and you've done your job through the week, so you shouldn't have to say anything on the sideline or at half time, like tweak a couple of things. But if you're barking instructions for 45 minutes and you're waiting for half time to spend 10 minutes doing this, what have you done through the week? Like, you haven't prepared your team for the job at hand.
Switch it, like as a player, like I think you respect a coach that is well prepared and does like the talking during the week, and then maybe not so much on the weekend, but it's all positive, than one that just exactly
coaches
bam, because players switch off. I don't care who you are, like they just switch off, and then it snowballs into something even worse, I guess.
If it's the same voice and the same message, like.
Yeah.
And look, I was as a player, I'd have been one of the world's worst for it. Like, you just see it and you're like, yeah, fuck off. You know what I mean? Like,
that's what it is.
All right, good one.
It is. Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So that's the thing. That's maybe one big difference with men's and women's, but you guys obviously heavily involved in the men's game, and we're moving forward with the women's game. But if say you've got a high tempo game and you do bugger up and the boss just starts barking at you. What's it like for the men? Like, do they just switch off and just go, get out of town or whatever, I'll just do my own thing? Or
depends on the person.
I think it depends heavily on the person.
I've seen it go both ways. You see someone turn around and give it back to the coach.
Yeah.
Sometimes someone won't have the balls to give it back to the coach, but a lot of people will. Sometimes, you've screwed up, you just put your hand up and say, I know. Get on with it. But it depends on the person.
Yeah, you do get individuals who are never wrong, though.
Yeah.
That's the ego thing we're talking about in the men's.
But it might affect people like, some players can't handle, it'll work in an adverse, so they'll be thinking about that mistake for the next 10 minutes, and then in that next 10 minutes they make 3 or 4 similar sort of errors because of that particular, you've stuffed up, then you got the coach on you, so then you're thinking so heavily about it. Some other players will be like, yep, got it, next one I'm going to do it better.
That's sort of part of that coach's preparation, knowing who sort of can cop that, I suppose. But some coaches, they'll just give it to whoever they want.
Part of the individual's mentality, but that might start a fire in that person's belly.
I think that's the key thing.
You got to know who to say it to.
Yeah.
From the flip side, from the coaching side of things, I know some players who those two might make the exact same mistake on the field, and I might have to shout on at him and say, TC, unlucky, next time we get it. Whereas I know if I shout at him, it's like, how many times are you going to do this and blah blah, and he might respond the way that you want him to. Everyone's different in how they take the message on board, and look, the more experience you get as a player, when you've made a mistake. When you're younger, maybe he's a little bit hot-headed, maybe you do turn around and...
Is that obviously different?
Yeah, that's what I was just about to get to. So, at half time, if we were down 2-0, and your centre half's having a stinker, you can't really, in the men's game, you could probably go up and start,
get
talking
tighter,
and really getting in deep, Whereas with the women's side of things, my routine is just let them have 5 minutes to themselves, just let them think, let them chat between themselves, but then never involve one player, just try and involve the group and say, how can we get better when this is a scenario, and don't bring that individual player into it. And I think by doing that, you really find the girls give you a lot more respect than saying, you know, so-and-so, why'd you do this? Or,
I think it's so easy too as a coach. Like, I haven't done much coaching at all, but like it's so much easier to just point the finger at one particular player. But like, as you said, like if you're down 2-0 and it's an individual error, it's going to be a collective that gets you out of it. So you've got to sort of pump the person who's made the mistakes tires up, but also get everyone around them to then go forward and try and get back into the game. Is that something like, was that like kind of what your mentality behind that approach is? Or
so I don't know how other coaches work, but like that first 5 minutes that we go in the sheds at half time is not only for the players to get their heads right, but it's also for me, because I know if we're down too bad and I go in there straight away and I'm just going to start barking, you know what I mean? And that's just going to get everyone off. So I just normally sit down and take some notes, because I'm not a coach to take notes in the sideline. I just try and keep as much as I can upstairs and think about the individual player performances, but then, you know, where we're going right and wrong as a collective group. And then in that 5 minutes, just try and put not too many, maybe 3 key notes on the board and just say, you know, this is where we really need to pick up. And then maybe put, you know, maybe 4 or 5 positive things. I always try and outweigh the negatives from the positives. But yeah, that's interesting. With
so no halftime blow-ups.
Nah, not really.
Surely there's been one.
There's got to be one.
You surely have kicked the water bottles.
I've had one coach come before, and he's walked. This is back in the glorious Toowoomba Raiders days, so we're obviously down. He's walked in, and it's the same bloke, by the way, that sung the song and got his chopper out. So he's walked in. He's wanted to say something, gone, fuck, and he just walked straight back. He didn't know who to blow up at. That was too many. Yeah.
I don't think I blow up too often.
This is not just a dream, it's a wet dream of orgasmic proportions that belongs in a different galaxy altogether.
We'll touch upon, so you finished second to Lions grand final against Lions?
Yeah, at their home.
Yeah.
So
was that neutral? Like already selected?
I thought it was supposed to be neutral, but
they
finished top and probably deserved the home final. But yeah, it was tough, and I think that week, Football Queensland did it really, really well. Got me and the girls in, and the captain in with the photos of the trophies, and yeah, it was probably one of the best weeks of my coaching career for sure. That's just drives me so hard for this year coming, and to try and give the girls now at Capalaba that sort of, that experience. Flicking back to that game, I think the week leading in, mentally we had to be strong. Because Lions are one of those teams where they lost 1 or 2 the whole year.
So you played them twice. Yeah,
so they beat us 2-1 and 3-block. So home and away, and I remember the home one like it was yesterday. 1-1, and then we conceded a pen in like the 88th to 89th, and killed us. And then but to give the girls credit, we backed up really well the coming weeks after that. But get back to grand final. The hype and everything in the women's game that week was pretty big, and I just said to the girls, we need to try and put all that aside, just train as we normally would, and then turn up. And we knew it was going to be hard. But up 1-0 at half time, and then to lose 3-1 was pretty devastating. So
they had a pretty gun team, Lions, didn't they?
They do. Just good players in key areas. But so did we. You know what I mean? On paper, and I'll say this now, the team we had last year on paper. Blessed, absolutely blessed to be with that group, and I don't think I'll coach a group like that with that on paper in a long time. It was.
Except for this year at Capalaba, obviously.
Different, very different this year at Capalaba. We'll be there again, but different group and different vision as well. I'm excited for this year at Capalaba because it's completely different to what we had at Moreton Bay.
Is it a similar sort of job where you Capalaba they're not the strongest women's football club in
I don't think they're weak.
They went quite well
last year.
Last season was the first season NPL for us, and we started well from memory. They finished mid-table.
Would you say it's a similar sort of project to what you walked into at Moreton Bay, or a bit more established?
Yeah, heaps more established. I mean, they finished 5th last year. They made finals.
Okay, so they're pretty. That was a pretty good season.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, 100%. And then they want to improve on what they had last year, and Dan Baker, the head coach there last year, set the standard, and now we've got to raise the bar, and we've got our objective for this year, and there's a bit of pressure you could say, but like I said,
what was like the key, I guess, factor behind the move for you?
So just touching, so you had a good season with Moreton Bay, and you leave, was that your decision to move on, or bit of a mutual? Mutual?
50-50. Different
that
visions.
Was as far as you could go at that point?
Different visions and different paths. They wanted to promote youth really heavily, which is the way they're going now, and that's fine. I don't know if you can make the top 4 with how many youth players they want to bring in.
Not instantly. It was over time.
Correct. Correct. And then it was kind of funny how it turned out, because the captain at Capalaba at the time, we got talking, and it kind of snowballed from there. And she's a girl, Steph Latham, that I've got so much respect for and time for, and she's very, very similar to Christy New, which was our captain at Moreton Bay. They look out for the girls, they drive the team, and you need someone like that to go with you. And Capalaba have been quite a good women's outfit for quite a while, but they just need that little bit of tweaking to go a little bit further.
So in terms of the squad they had last year, goes without saying you probably added. I know you've definitely added Amy Chapman.
So come in and same as probably every other year, just held trials, and unfortunately the board gave me clear instructions of what they expected, and I said, well, if that's what you expect, then this is what we need to do. This is how many players that we need to unfortunately move on, and this is what we need to bring in. And they're all for that. So we've made a couple of really good signings. Brought over another American in Annie, and she goes really good. And then just strengthened the back line and added Chappie up front. So still maybe 1 or 2 to go as well. I'd love Nat Tathan to come as well. She's pretty much on board. Just depends. I've got to wait for Raw season to be finished, and so
bit of an exclusive there.
Do we need to keep that under wraps until?
Nah, it's all good. It's all good. Good girl.
Given what you brought in, and I'd imagine lines are pretty much the standard for next year. What's the club aim? What's the personal aim? I know that the personal aim is to win the league, win the grand final, win everything. What would you consider moving forward this season to be success?
Top 2. Top 2 would be incredible. I'd settle for top 3.
I was going to say, if I offered you now 3rd spot and defeat in the grand final, would you take it?
Say that again.
3rd spot and defeat in a grand final. The tough one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's real tough.
You can't say yes
You just
to
want to
that.
get there.
It's an improvement on last year, though, isn't it?
It is. And for them to finish 5th last year with the squad that they had and the resources that they had, incredible. Incredible. Like when I walked in and saw the roster, the professionalism, I just went and shook Dan's hand and said, man, you've done an incredible job. Like you would say, realistically, you'd say they would be a lot further down the pecking order. But the other massive attraction there is the core group that they've got and the culture that they've built there. And that's why I had to be very careful with who I brought in, because that's one thing the club said, we don't care who you bring in.
It's got to fit though.
But it's got to be a fit. And so there was as soon as I signed that dotted line, there was pressure from the outgo, you know what I mean? So getting back to your question, I I don't know.
Yeah.
It's too difficult to answer. You know what I mean? Like,
Pencil you in for no.
hey.
We'll pencil you in for no.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Right. We'll probably touch upon it again during the year.
Yeah, for sure.
See if Benny's prediction's correct.
It's not a prediction. I'm just asking a question.
It's prediction.
Just one other thing I wanted to touch upon, and this is something we've spoke about with the lads off air. Not your particular thing, but one of the others. That NPL or the Football Queensland Awards night. All right. So you get the grand final, and you finish second, only a couple of points behind. There's 4 nominees for a Coach of the Year.
Yeah.
And you weren't in the 4. How does that happen?
Yeah, how does that happen?
It's a strange one.
It is a strange one.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really get too involved. To be fair, like I said previous, like personal accolades,
Yeah.
you know, I'm not massive on. I probably do spruik it on Facebook and that, but that's not to say, hey, look at me. It's more or less to say, look at the club and look what the girls have given me, and you know, like Philpy had it last year with the Coach of the Month and that sort of stuff. I was probably one of the first ones to throw it out there when I got it, but I said clearly that it's not about me. It's you know, it's about the girls and how we won those 5 games straight or 6 games straight or whatever it was. I think how it worked was actually after the season was done, every coach got to nominate another coach. Yeah. And then went forward from there. So, but I think if you have a look, the Capella by Coach Dan Baker, I thought he would have taken it out.
Yeah.
But to not know what he had behind the scenes and so forth, that's probably why he didn't.
Yeah.
But then again, I think Karen East took it out.
Yeah, I think so.
Good girl, Karen. Like, she's heavily for the game. And then she wound those girls up really well towards the end of the season. So.
Yeah.
But it was a bit I guess you could say a bit disappointing, but that's football.
I mean, I know in the NPL, Philpa wasn't in the 4,
wasn't it?
which I thought first year up. Maybe it's because we
straight.
fell away. People thought, but the 4 that were in there, you could put an argument for all 4. I mean, I think Mooney obviously won it. They won the league again. Great Piddock, first year in the league, grand final win, finished second. Fair enough. Ben Khan obviously got Olympic 2, maybe the last 16, the FFA Cup. And Rossi took on a low team and really raised them up towards the end.
They were in big trouble, weren't they, when he took over?
Yeah. Do you think, like, as you say, like particularly with Philpa, as you mentioned about like not knowing what Dan had behind the scenes, maybe that's why it wasn't looked at. Maybe with Philpa, was it a case of like everyone looks at power and thinks like money bags?
Yeah,
and, you know,
but probably it is a case of that. And look, I'm not going to go into the budgets of other teams and this and that because I don't know what they are, but you hear rumours about different clubs. So
it's hearsay.
A lot of the time it's wider than mark, you know, from all angles. But I do think that the other 4 they had merit. I think Owen Baker would have had merit, you know. Semi-finals of the FA Cup, and he wasn't the 4 either.
And they had a very strong back half of the season, didn't they? Strikers. So
similar to QPL, like Paul Arneson wins the league, makes a grand final, and he didn't win that goal. Whether he cared or not, I'm sure he didn't. But
you say you don't, but I mean,
it's nice to get awards like that. I suppose
it is nice to be recognised.
But I mean, he got him promoted, and that's what he wanted.
But I suppose getting back to yours, like, you know what you've done, you know what you did at Moreton Bay, not for just last year, but the year. As Benny was saying before, like, put their women's program on the map, basically. Like, I've followed them on social media, and as you said, every second post is something positive to do with the women's game, which can only be beneficial for like moving forward as a sport, you know, as a club. Like, that's their foundations now that they can build on if they play it right.
Did you give yourself like a chance to sort of really look back and see like where you started from to where you've sort of left the place now that you've gone, and think like,
it's like my driving force.
Give yourself a bit of credit.
Yeah, it's like my driving force every day. You know, and it's funny because I played for several years, but coaching is just like nothing else to me. Like, it's 24/7, I think. You know what I mean? Like, I just love thinking, and, you know, the what ifs, and you know, that grand final loss just, like, you know, still burns today, like, so hard inside. And, you know, my driving force this year for the girls that I got this year is to repeat last year, you know.
Win the final. Yeah,
I mean, I guess that's every coach's dream, innit, to win the grand final for sure. if we can get there, I mean, yeah, it'll be a ginormous effort. I think they're a club that, Capella Bar, they probably looked at more so the past couple of years as maybe like a community club. But now with David Large coming in and what Dan did last year and so forth, I think we're slowly moving forward with the professionalism and so forth.
And we've got men and women in NPL now. So
it's
it's definitely a huge step. So they're really driving behind it, and they're another club as well that do a bit of stuff on social media and that. Like, I think it's weird that way. Like, you've only got probably maybe a handful of clubs that really push the social media stuff. Like Power, pretty good. Lions, Moreton Bay, obviously, like you were saying.
You'd be silly not to.
Gold Coast United.
Gold Coast United.
Knights, for sure.
Old Busy Bee over there.
So, just in closing, then, with the league this year, I think it's a given that Lions are going to be up there.
Yep.
Capella Bar are going to be pushing. Who are the other 2 or 3 teams who you expect to be pushing?
I think my surprise packet this year, or not really a surprise with what they've signed, and once again their professionalism as well, is going to be Gold Coast. Gold Coast United. So they were there or thereabouts last year. I think they finished maybe 6th last year and just made the finals, but they've added really well this year, signed a quality keeper, and they've kept their imports and added to that with a couple of girls just south of the border who are really good as well. So I think they'll be right up there in the top, pushing top 4. An interesting one for me would be Logan.
Didn't they get a few Moreton Bay players? I've noticed
so I think, like we were talking about before with culture and that sort of stuff, they scream culture on social media at the moment, but Nick's got to be careful with with what he's got and how I worked last year. If you've got that many quality players in the one group, you've got to make sure that you can handle them right. I think if he does that, they'll have a good year. If he doesn't, we might get Meg back. But you never know.
Bit of a scoop.
Nah.
That'll be a first.
No. You know what I mean? Like, you've got to be careful with with a lot of quality players in the one group. So I wish them all the best. But I think this year, Gold Coast. My pick. So
Olympic back in the league?
No, so they got a licence back, but through Football Brisbane. Okay. So they're in Cap 1. So they'll make their way up. They'll have a good squad. So,
what's the difference like between MPL and BPL? Would the top 2 teams in BPL, would they be competitive at MPL or?
Yes.
Yeah, they would.
They would be.
Because the Lakes won it, didn't they? The Lakes and Penn
correct.
Park.
Yeah, they'd be competitive.
Yeah,
they'd be competitive, but then they'd have to probably add a couple more to be good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, with the women's game, like this year, bit of a scoop. I think Sunny Coaster pulled out.
Yeah.
So we had 13 teams. Now we're down to 12. So it'd be a top 4 final system. So if you had maybe a couple of top teams in BWPL come up, they'd be competitive.
Yeah.
But how far they could go, I don't know if they'd compete with the top 4.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know what it's like in the men's game. I mean, if you get, say Power playing, one of the lower level teams, it would probably still be a pretty even contest. I think in our league, if you get the likes of Lions or us playing the likes of one of the lower teams, then
a blowout.
Unless we switch right off, which is sometimes can be hard to turn up and make sure you're on bell, week in, week out. So
all right. I think we've gone for quite a long time there. What I will say is, and similar to what we've said halfway through the show, I think that the work that you've already done in your short coaching career, you've started to help put women's football well and truly on the map in this region, and long may it continue. It's, if you've got the women's game flourishing and the men's game flourishing, then it's probably a place that people want to come and play, whether that's from overseas or interstate. And full credit to you.
Thanks.
I think after we put up those first couple posts asking who people thought we should get on, I think you were tagged maybe 200 or 300 times. Glad we could get you on for a chat.
Seemed like a very popular man, and obviously very passionate about the women's game, which
very busy.
I think we Dusty over here will be quite happy about having a new baby daughter,
baby Marnus.
Little baby
my
Remy.
playing golf, mate. That's what's
I just think I think it's important that we grow the game in the right direction. And I've said to all the girls that I've ever coached at this level that it's not. I don't want to help them just on the pitch.
Yeah.
Like I want to help them off the pitch as well. And that's where you build a strong club and a strong culture.
Yeah.
And that's where you really move forward when you can help the girls off the field as well and help them mentally and any struggles that they have and really try and progress forward. So.
Cool. All right. Well,
Happy days.
thanks again, Sky, for
Easy.
today.
No, thanks very much for having me on, lads. It's been great.
Cheers,
Thanks
mate.
to Wynnum Golf Club, who've again hosted us in the boardroom.
Yeah.
Roger Hunter.
Rog.
And thanks to our sponsors.
Scissors, Paper, Rock. Big sponsors of ours.
Jakey.
Yeah.
Jake, David,
Jake and David.
the boys.
And we will be back later in the week with part 2 of the third episode of the Subs Bench. So
Are we telling people who's coming on for part 2 at this stage?
we need to make sure he's got off the plane this morning.
it could be Roger again.
It could be Roger again.
We'll get Xander
Part 2. All right, thanks lads, and good luck this season, Sky.
Cheers,
Good luck,
boys.
Thanks, mate.
Thank you.
Cheers, mate.